Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of Entitled People. It's time for more Reddit stories about some real insane people. So sit back and relax, subscribe to the channel for more Reddit content, and let's get right into it, guys. Nurse stiffs DoorDash driver, gets arrested. This occurred in September last year. I was making a routine lunch delivery to the hospital nearby. The customer didn't provide any delivery instructions other than to call when I arrived. I called and called, no reply. Waited and waited. In that instance, we leave the food in a safe place, in this case at the admissions desk, and notify the customer. About 5 minutes later, I started getting furious texts from this person. "Where's my food? I told you where to bring it, you goddamn moron, not leave it there. This is all your fault. You're a f***ing idiot." I apologized profusely despite her incessant lies that she said where to leave it, and her swearing at me. 5 minutes go by and I get notified that she claims she never received the food and left a negative rating. So I contacted support to address the rating, and since I was nearby, returned to the delivery location to find out what happened to the order. When I arrived, the admissions desk personnel tell me this individual came down in a huff, cussing, and took the food, and it's on camera. DoorDash is on with the customer who is texting that someone stole it, and she refuses to pay for it. I knew that the order name was Russian, unusual. DoorDash says if I can verify it was received, they will remove the rating. The admissions people notify an admin to come talk to me. The admin contacts hospital security who speaks to me, then decides to go ask the nurse to pay for the order. They talked to her. She refused. They said that they might be forced to notify the police, and she said, "Go ahead," to hospital security. Anywho, the police are contacted. I file a brief statement for theft of services, and a female detective reached out to me a few weeks later. I said, "Do you really think it's worth pursuing such a small amount?" And she reminded me of her vindictive texts and how she was offered multiple opportunities to avoid charges, and she refused. She literally came after me hard. My mind was instantly made up. The detective said she would go to her house first, but if she wasn't home, she'd arrest her at the hospital. It was misdemeanor fraud and something else. Then months went by, heard nothing back. Then I got an email from the court on Tuesday, asking for my address, where to send the check for restitution, and she pled guilty. And this nurse went through all that just to try to get a free meal. Hope it was worth it. I'm the customer, so you have to date me. Now let me start by saying I'm fine with people who can break the script on customer service, on either side, and I'm all for looking for love wherever you want. But know that when she says no, she means it. Also, this guy was so creepy he'd give online incels a run for their money. So I was in charge of babysitting the newbies for the day, as we just had a fresh crop of them whisk in. The rate of retention was low, and I was perhaps the one guy who worked on all areas at some point, so I had to train everyone. One newbie was Barbie. She was 16 and as much of a Barbie girl as you can get, complete with the shiny blonde hair and bubbly personality. She was on the till to my right, and in comes Jackass, or J.A. So she is busy taking his order, when all of a sudden, he decides to ask for her phone number. Now I'm sure that she's used to it, as she brushed it off and said, "Sorry, I'm seeing someone. So would you like your meal large?" "Nah, I give large. I don't buy it," the guy said, as if he could impress her with his vulgarity. "Okay, so any sides?" she asked. She wasn't going to break from the script purely out of discomfort, I think. At this point, I was finished with my customer and turned my attention on this guy. "Depends. Can I have you as my side? I'd love to make a meal out of you," the guy told her. The sheer cringe was uncomfortable for all of us except him. "You need me to step in?" I asked her. "I'm okay, but you stay near," she asked. "No worries," I told her. "Is this your boyfriend?" the guy asked her. "No, but you're making me feel uncomfortable. You're like 10 years older than me and you're creeping on me," she told him. I think that she was hoping he would just realize what he was doing and give up. No such luck. "Honey, I'm your customer. This is part of customer service, so just give me your number and my order, and I'll come by later to pick you up," he replied. The sheer entitled attitude towards her was starting to annoy me and her. "Sir, I'm just going to be blunt with you. I'm not going to allow her to deal with you any further. You're going to either finish your order with me and it'll be a takeaway, or you can leave now," I said. Barbie quickly took a step back from the till and let me take her place. "Hey, that's not cool. We're both guys here. No blocking me, man," the guy exclaimed. He was actually angry because I wouldn't let him hit on her. I told Barbie to go into the kitchen and grab a drink of water or something while I dealt with him. I honestly don't care if you think, because we're both guys, you're entitled to make my front counter team uncomfortable. You have a right to order food from here for now. If you continue with this behavior, I'll simply have you leave, I told him, hoping that my stern voice was enough to get him to focus. It was not. So this guy continues with his order for a moment, before redirecting his attention to Barbie, who had just popped her head out of the kitchen to see if she was in the clear, and he clicked on immediately when he noticed her. Why can't you just take my order and give me your number? All I want to do is give you some, he shouted at her. She immediately fled as the manager on shift came out of the dry store after hearing the commotion. I immediately signaled them to call the security staff for the shopping center before turning back to the customer. Sir, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave now, as I don't feel comfortable with you even being in the same place as my colleague. Now please leave, as I'm going to cancel off everything for your order, and you won't be served any further by any colleague here, I informed him. I'm not leaving until I get her number. Do you even know who I am? He said, as if knowing who he was would change my opinion on him. No, but you're not harassing my colleague for her number so you can act like a big man. You look closer to my age than hers, so you should know that acting like this is inappropriate. I have no problems with a guy asking a girl for her number, but when she says no, it means no. I explained to him. Since when? When a says no, you simply pay her more money. It's the same here. When she says no, you keep asking until she says yes. He replied, as if this means he's in the right all of a sudden. A moment later, security just walked in. The manager walked out to point out the customer who was still irate because he couldn't get a girl's number. I'd already canceled his order on the tills, but he was still refusing to leave until he got her number. Security just walked in behind him and tapped him on the shoulder. Sir, you'll have to come with us, the security guard said. But she hasn't given me her number yet, he told them. And she won't. Now please leave, I told him. With this, he finally admitted defeat and skulked away. I don't know what made him think he was entitled to her, but I'm just glad she was protected properly. You can ask a girl out, but you can't harass her if she says no. When Barbie left that day, she was driven home by one of the female members of staff who finished at the same time. She actually came back as well, and I made sure that she was okay to keep working on the tills before I put her back on them that day. I might call her Barbie, but she was a boss Barbie if anything. Good on her for not letting him shake her. Yeah, that dude is seriously creepy as hell. I would like to say that these types of people are far and few in between, but then again, since I'm not a woman, I can't really speak on that end. But yeah, this guy is definitely on the far end of the creepy spectrum. Woman road rages against me, gets arrested during Christmas. This happened in early December last year. I'm driving home from school one afternoon, and I accidentally cut off a lady in a big-ass Suburban. I quickly got back in my original lane and waved an apology after she honked at me. I was a bit tired, so I missed her in my blind spot. I thought that would be the end of it, but boy was I wrong. My one careless move triggered a series of road rage incidents from her that I never thought anyone would be capable of resorting to. First, this woman speeds around me and aggressively cuts me off and brake checks me very hard. Mind you, the speed limit was 45 miles per hour, and I was already doing 50. She had to be passing me at no less than 70 miles per hour. I gave her some room in case she brake checks me again, which she did, bringing our whole lane down to 15 miles per hour, all while flipping me off outside her window. I have a dash cam, so even if I hit her, I could have taken the insurance payout, but dealing with insurance is too much of a hassle, and I love my car, so I didn't want to damage it. Other cars start passing us, so I try to do the same, but she drives in front of me again. Eventually, she lets me pass, and I wave her sorry again, to which she responds with the finger. Finally, we stop at a red light, and she pulls alongside me, yelling at me to roll down your effing window, you N-word. I am not even black. Of course, I don't, in case she pulls something out on me. Other cars are honking at her for blocking my adjacent lane while yelling at me, but she gives zero shits. Once the light turns green, I make a loop around the block to try and lose her, but to no avail. I even haul ass down an open road to see if she gives up. My car is heavily modded, so it can comfortably smoke her SUV, but she persists. I'm thinking, what kind of person has this much time on a weekday to follow someone around? Had I driven home, she could have come back later and did God knows what. So finally, I resort to calling the cops. Unfortunately, I'm right at the boundary of 3 counties, so I get bounced around dispatchers for about 5 minutes, before finally ending up with the right jurisdiction. I explain my situation, and the dispatcher directs me to drive towards the nearest police precinct, while an officer tries to intercept us. During the conversation with the dispatcher, she is still flipping me off, and the dispatcher can hear her honking. That's how close she was tailgating me. It's been over 30 minutes since the original incident. Seriously, who the f*** has this much time? I stay calm and continue to relay to the dispatcher where I am as I pass intersections. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, I saw a Dodge Charger speeding up behind us. I couldn't tell if it was a patrol car, as it appeared to be an undercover vehicle. No blues and reds yet, so I confirmed with the dispatcher if there was an officer behind us. It was. Once I saw the lights come on, I pulled over and she promptly followed. As I parked in some church lot, this fat ass dove out of her car, and only then she notices the Christmas tree of lights behind us. The look on her face was priceless. And what does this dumbass do? She darts towards the officer's car. The officer quickly commanded her to stop, which this bag of meat seemed to understand. Not long after, his corporal and another officer arrived. Now I'm still sitting in my car waiting for the officer to come to me. I hear the bitch making up some bullcrap story, and in a few minutes he comes up to my window to hear my side. The moment I stepped out of my car to talk to him, she yells at me, "You effing suck at driving." This was retaliated by the officer yelling at the woman. I told him my side, and about all the brake checking and racial slurs, and she obviously denied it. The instant when I mentioned it was all on dashcam, her face went pale. The officer saw all the brake checks, excessive speed, and tailgating once I pulled up the footage on my phone, and he then asked me if I wanted to press charges. Of course I did. They searched her SUV and found an unregistered Glock underneath the driver's seat, and a tiny bag of weed, which isn't legal in my state. This woman got arrested for reckless driving, endangerment, possession of marijuana, and a couple of other things. I was just told to drive carefully with no ticket. Update. Regarding the gun registration, I misinterpreted it. In Georgia, we only need a firearms license. I guess that's what she was lacking, which made the Glock illegal with her. I'm not a gun owner, so I'm very unfamiliar with those laws. Sorry for any confusion there. Yeah, if that whole situation wasn't already scary enough, it just makes it that much worse hearing that she was packing heat. That is exactly the type of person who you don't want carrying a gun. Man, that was pretty wild though. Super satisfying that she ended up getting arrested too. Snooping in my mom's medicine cabinet. My mother and stepfather would often hang out with his best friend, his girlfriend Jade, and 2 other couples. Whenever they came to our house, Mom would notice things moved and missing from her medicine cabinet. Fed up, she brought it up at the dinner table. Believing it was Jade, but not wanting to accuse, she asked if anyone was in need of a Tylenol or something similar, because someone keeps going in the medicine cabinet. Everyone looked confused, and Jade said, "Maybe it's your daughter," talking about me. My mom replied with, "Maybe," then dropped it. For the next get-together, my mother drilled a hole in the top cabinet and filled it with marbles. 10 minutes into dinner, Jade excused herself to use the bathroom. Then we all hear the crash of many marbles crashing into the sink. Jade assumed no one heard and tried putting them back. She came out of the bathroom like nothing happened. My mother said, "Before you leave, you owe me about $250 for all the makeup and skincare products you lifted." She acted appalled. Her boyfriend said, "Shut up, we heard you, and we're leaving now." Mom got her money and Jade became single again. I miss my mother and her brilliant but petty mind. Alright friends, that's going to be it for today. Thanks for watching. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed, and also subscribe for more. So have a nice day everyone, take care, and until next time.